Let's learn how to look at tables, pick out some of the columns and some of the rows, and create new tables. Select statements are by far the most common statements in SQL. A select statement always includes a comma-separated list of column descriptions, and those are the columns that you're selecting out of an existing table. A column description is an expression. You can also name that column using as and a column name. So we write select some expression, which is usually just the name of a column, but it could be a number or something like that. And then as gives you a chance to name this column in the table that you're creating. You can have more than one of these, so different expressions. Pick out different columns. You can give them each a name. That's always optional. And then the from clause describes a table from which you are selecting rows and columns in the first place. And if you don't want all of the rows, you can have limit, which determines the maximum number of rows to select. So once I'm done describing all the columns in the table that I'd like to see, I write from, the table name, limit, and the number. You could leave out the limit part and it will give you all of the rows. The special star column description that you'll sometimes see refers to all columns in the table. So let's start with that. If I have a table called titles and I want to see the first 3 rows, I write select star from titles, and I'll see some output like this. This is the title the movie had, the year it came out, how long the movie is, and some genres. Those are all of the columns in this titles table. If instead I only want the year and the title, then I will write a select statement that specifies those 2 columns. This as renames the year column to release year. Still I have the same from titles, limit 3, and so I end up with a different table, one that has only 2 columns, and this one's not called year, it's called release year. Notice that the columns are now in a different order. The way I reordered them was to show what order I want in the select statements column description. Now, when you open up this database and select star from titles, as soon as you hit return, you'll see 1,000 rows, so be careful. Instead, we're going to add a limit of 10 in order to see just some of them. And this identifier I can use to look up the movie. And there is electrifying King Kong. Oh, there he comes. All right, so notice that this doesn't really show me what the columns are called. On my version of SQLite, I can change the mode of display to column, at which point the same command will give me a more nicely formatted output, but it's the same data either way. Once you create a table using a select statement, you can give it a name. The result of a select statement is displayed, so I can take a look at what are the first 10 movies. But it's not stored anywhere. If you want to store it somewhere, you need to write create table, and that gives the result of a select statement a permanent name that you can refer to later. So here's the format, create table, give the name of the table first, then the word as, and then a description of the table using a select statement. So for example, if I had already figured out that I want a year column and a title column, and I only want 3 rows, I could then create a table called first 3, which has this data in it, which is just part of the titles table. Then I can refer to that in other select statements. Select the release year from first 3 will only show me 3 rows, even though I don't have a limit here, because it's showing me all the rows in the first 3 table. The first 3 table only has 3 rows.